Hello, I'm Sarah French. I'm a family law solicitor and mediator in the family team at Scott Bailey. I'm here to talk to you today about family mediation. Life changes, children grow, and situations evolve. Ongoing mediation allows parents to adapt without conflict. Family mediation can be used by parents to discuss the schooling arrangements for their child. It's not just which school your child might attend, but also which subjects they might choose for later on in their schooling career for GCSEs, A-levels, and so on. It might also be extracurricular activities, and there's often a cost associated with those. So often parents will need to discuss which activities their child attends and who pays for those activities. Again, these sorts of conversations can be dealt with in the mediation setting in a sensible and calm manner, as opposed to the potential for conflict arising when discussed direct, potentially via messaging and so on, when things can unravel. As life moves on, of course, holidays and trips abroad will crop up, and it's really important to understand from a legal point of view that you cannot go out of the country without the consent of the other parent. This is often given without any problem at all, but sometimes conversations are needed. Again, in family mediation, there's a sensible way to have these conversations, mainly often as an information sharing piece. So where are you planning to go? Which hotel or accommodation are you planning to stay in? Is there an emergency contact that can be given? Details of flights, and then passports. Who is the parent who holds the child's passport? And if you're not the parent who holds the child's passport, how are you going to get that passport for a trip abroad? All these little details we just need to fill in to make sure, again, there's no potential for conflict. When it comes to your child's health, then parents need to be on the same page, ideally, with medical decisions. Medical decisions and treatments come under the umbrella of parental responsibility from a legal point of view. So again, both parents need to consent to any medical treatment that their child might undergo. And if they do not consent and a conflict arises, then ultimately that decision can be made by the court. Obviously, we want to head off any potential areas for dispute, particularly in such a sensitive area as a child's mental, emotional, or physical health. And therefore, family mediation again provides the opportunity for parents to come together and have conversations round a table or online to try to sort out these issues early on, and often urgently. If a particular medical treatment is needed urgently, then again, mediation is much more flexible than any of the other traditional court routes to get parents together to try and sort it out as soon as possible. Parenting teenagers can, of course, be challenging, and as your teenager grows, they will have more to say about what they want in terms of their desire potentially for a mobile phone, walking to school, going over to friends' houses, and so on. And whilst as your child grows and becomes a teenager, some of the decisions that you had to make as parents will fall away. These other decisions will come into play. And it's really important for parents to present a united front so that the message they're giving to their teenager is the same. Otherwise, there is the potential for manipulation or conflict to arise. So again, coming back to family mediation, to talk about these kind of issues early on is a great opportunity so that you can speak with each other and try and just head off any of these things at the past before they might develop into something that could cause a dispute for you and your family. When you go to mediation and you originally come up with a parenting plan, it would be sensible to try to build into that some review clauses. This sounds a bit formal, but all it means is really building in a point where you as parents have it diarised to come back and review what you'd agreed and see whether it still fits, is it still in the best interests of your child, of your family, and see if anything needs to be changed. Now that could be every 12 months, that could be every 3 years, that could be every 5 years, whatever suits you and your family. And it's not to say, of course, if something arises sooner, that you can't come back at any stage. The door is always open with mediation. And it's a real strength to think about that option as the way that you're going to resolve matters, and agree that that's the way you're going to resolve matters going forward, as opposed to viewing it as potentially a failure to have to come back and see somebody like me in family mediation. It is exactly the opposite. It is future-proofing your family and your co-parenting arrangements, because all the research tells us that it is parental conflict that is what is most damaging to children, as opposed to the separation or divorce itself. So by future-proofing and building in your mechanisms to come back and look at what you decided, which may no longer be appropriate, that is really sensible and really good co-parenting. Life happens, life is unpredictable. No one can tell you for sure what is going to happen. And those events may be good, they may be bad, but whatever they may be, you have a mechanism for coming back and sorting things out sensibly, hopefully amicably, constructively, and often urgently. So mediation is so flexible that if you both agree you need a session as soon as possible, then we will certainly do everything we can at Scott Bailey to make that possible for you and your family.